Divine greetings and gratitude. Let's go ahead and get into your messages. I already do have your deck pulled out here. Let's go ahead and get started. The deck that we're going to be working with is called the Light Seers Tarot. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nuna. I'm here to help you on your path of remembrance by merging the arts of writing, poetry, and magic. Every link that you will need from me will be down below. I may or may not recommend essentials for you to work with in the Ethereum. Should I need to give you any recommendations, I'll let you know down in the description box as well as in the comment section. Welcome to your new home. Of course, I'm excited to have you here. We're not going to be working with Oracle today, not unless the divine guides me to pull out Oracle, but right now we're just going to work on tarot. And immediately I can tell that you are in a space of transition, actually. And it's interesting because, of course, Mercury is retrograde. And with Mercury being retrograde, it's bringing up a lot. And I mean a lot dealing with the past. And it's just been so much going on with Mercury retrograde. A lot of things are being reevaluated. It feels like Mercury retrograde is doing the most, of course. However, I don't see that Mercury retrograde is doing the most. If anything, I do see that Mercury retrograde is really, really, really helping us to go back and think about where we have been so that we can be led to where we are meant to go. And that's the energy that I'm picking up on with this reading. So we're just going to go ahead and go with that. Do I see a fresh start? Kind of. I don't want to say that I see like a fresh start, meaning that you're starting something over. But what I do want to say is that I just heard you're getting back to work. And I feel like if you were on maternity leave, I feel like you're probably going to be going back to work soon. Or if you were, I don't know why I'm hearing postpartum. It's like postpartum or something that happens after you give birth to something or after you give birth to something. I'm not calling the baby a thing. What I'm saying is that if this is not you going through postpartum, or if this is you not having an actual baby, this is something that you've given birth to, whether it be a creation, a song, a play, a book, a piece of writing, whatever it may be. What I'm seeing is that you are in the stages of transitioning and now it's time to get back to work. But there is a caution though. I feel like what you're being guided to do at this time is to ensure that you are setting the tone by enforcing the boundary before you decide. My apologies. The reason why you see a skip in this reading is because I do have children and they do get pretty loud sometimes. And I have to remind them that I'm working, I'm doing what I need to do. So the fact that I do see here that you have the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Swords is sticking out to me. And the reason why she is because the Queen of Swords is connected to energy that uses its discernment, but also tells you the truth exactly the way that you need to hear it. And it tells you the truth in a way that is non-emotional, although it is guided by spirit. Because this is a queen, however, this is very mutable. So you don't have energy that is entirely fixed, but it is fixed in the way that it relays the messages in a way. And it also is fixed in a way where it does not allow itself to move outside of divine wisdom, right? So I feel like with this Queen of Swords here, I feel like when you go back, or when you decide to go back to work, or when you decide to go back into the mode of creating this thing, or in the mode of sharing this thing, right? I feel like what you're going to do, or what you're guided to do, is trust your own feelings, as well as trust in what you know is good for you. And also don't be afraid to pivot or walk away from anything that is draining you. And I actually do see someone, I'm going to be real with you. I see you walking away from your job and into something else, but I feel like it is purpose driven, because you're meant to be some type of, not influencer, but you're meant to be someone who's working with the public, working with people, and everything you put into that job, or everything that you put into that 9 to 5 or whatever, you're going to start taking those skills and implementing them in a way that not only serves you and your business, but also that serves just simply purpose, right? But this isn't purpose rooted in selfishness. This is purpose for the collective. But I also feel like you are really being guided to trust your own feelings, right? Like, I just feel like that's the title of the video. The video is trust your own feelings, especially when you know that you're being called back into the space of work, back into the space of productivity, back into the space of service. And what I'm seeing here is also, not only am I hearing for you to up your price and up your value and petition for something higher or petition for more pay or whatever it may be, but also state what does and what does not work for you and what you will and will not do. And I'm hearing something about terms and conditions. You may want to update your terms and conditions. I just heard something about a privacy policy. So this is something coming through from someone's work. You may want to go back and think about or reread the terms and conditions, because I'm hearing that they updated something at your job and they didn't notify. So you want to go back and check the terms and conditions. Make sure that you are on top of that, or the standards of working or the job requirements, right? So you're wanting to make sure that you keep up with that. But also, I feel like apart from the 9 to 5, apart from corporate, I feel like this is where, again, you're starting to trust your own feelings. You do have the Queen of Cups here as well as the Fool card. And whenever I see the Fool card in a reading, of course, yes, it immediately draws me to moving on, but it does depend on what is around the cards, right? So the fact that you do have the Queen of Cups here, this lets me know that this is energy where moving forward, right? When you decide to go, when you decide to jump or take this leap, what's going to really help you this time around is you trusting in what you feel, you trusting in those intuitive hunches, and you taking what you learned during Cancer season, during Jupiter in Cancer, that transit, for that year-long transit. Take what you learned there and apply that in this venture. Okay, because that's what's going to help to not only lead to newness and freshness and new opportunities, but it's also what's going to help you take care of yourself and you allow other people to take care of you moving forward. But there is something about you not allowing yourself to bypass what you need, you not allowing yourself to continuously pour out from yourself, knowing that you too need. So I feel like these messages are definitely layered, but I do feel what I'm hearing is that Spirit is really wanting you to learn from the past. There was something that happened in your past, and now it's time for you to implement what you learned. But also, I just heard that you're coming out of some type of, wait, what was that, Spirit? I didn't catch it. What was that? It was something about, I heard it, but then I didn't catch it in time. I didn't say it in time. I do not like when that happens. So essentially what I feel is that you're coming out of a space of some type of poverty or extending your resources, constantly giving out things when you know that you need to receive in order to help you. This is where you don't allow yourself to fall into the trap of, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm accurate enough. I don't know if I can do this well enough. State your price, let it be what it is, and then extend the service. Like, that's something that I'm hearing. Also, don't forget to take care of yourself, and don't forget to really tune in and hone in on taking care of your emotional body, of your own needs. Right. And I feel like the fact that you do have the Queen of Cups here and the Queen of Swords here, I feel like you're using your words to protect what is sacred, but also using your words and using the power of your linguistic, like using, I don't know why the word is linguistic. Why is the word linguistic? Linguistically articulating the things that you do need, and also allowing yourself to set the boundary and set the tone. And there's something about how in the past you were very giving. You always gave, right? Because you have such a big heart. You always gave. You always wanted to make sure that people had, right? Even if it meant you extending your resources, even if it meant you going without, and Spirit is not wanting that for you, not this time around. In fact, I don't believe at all that the divine wanted you to do this at all, meaning to give yourself endlessly without you receiving anything in return. And I feel like you're not doing this in a way that is transactional. You're doing this in a way that is rooted in discernment. And I feel like with your discernment, you know, okay, if I do this for this person, they're going to end up, right, trying to take more than what I'm willing to give, or they're going to try to take, and they don't want to give, right? I just heard the word pattern recognition. Pick up on the patterns, pay attention to the patterns, right? And I just heard don't move from Spirit is what I'm hearing. Don't move from Spirit. What I'm hearing what I feel with that is that instead of you bypassing what you know that you're receiving, right, what you're receiving from the divine, don't move past that. Instead, allow that to be what guides you instead, right? Like, don't allow what is happening outside of you to move you outside of what spirit is guiding you to do. I also do see you leaving relationships, and I do see you leaving partnerships, and I do see you leaving your job. Actually, whatever this is, I do see you leaving. I just heard the word 8 months, so I don't know if you have about 8 months left, or it's been 8 months or 8 months overdue, but there's something about specifically 8 months. And I just heard the word August. There's something that could be coming up for you in August. It could be the pivot that you've been needing. It could be a transit that's happening, but there's something about August. There's something very specific about August, and there's something very specific about 8 months. You also do have here the Four of Cups. Divine, is there anything else? Let me go ahead and shuffle one more time. Thank you so much for spending time with me here today. I'm kind of considering leaving readings behind the scenes and only doing readings maybe like once a week. Probably. I'm not really sure. I tend to do readings very often on this channel, but as a writer and as a business owner and as someone who, is becoming a minister and whatnot, my work in itself is also pivoting and changing. So I'm actually going to be working with spirit behind the scenes to allow me to even change up the way that I'm doing things as well. I've been showing up on the internet since I think it was like 2019, and it's been a long time coming for me. And I know that, I don't know about you, but I know that my time is definitely coming. So I got to do some restructuring behind the scenes. Okay, so you do have 9 of Cups in reverse, and you are definitely being called out because you're being called out. Okay, yes. So I will let you know on this channel that I do not believe in sugarcoating your messages. I do believe in being respectful, but I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to make something up just because I want people to click on these videos and things like that. I'm letting you know right now that you are being called out, and what you are being called out on is the fact that you keep sacrificing what you know that you need, and you keep going against what routine, not just routine, but you keep going against the things that you're trying to root into reality, and it's for the sake of other people. And I'm hearing that you continuously do things to people please because I'm hearing that it's because you've never really did things like this before. Like, you're not used to being on your own. You're not used to being an entrepreneur, or you're not used to standing on your own, and you're afraid that people are going to reject you, or that communities won't accept you, or you're afraid that if you don't do it in a certain way to please people, that somehow you won't be successful. But that's the very thing, or that's the very reason why you may not have gone as far as you can go, And I really feel that I'm hearing that you're missing out on a lot of wealth because of this need to give people what they want, or what you think they would want, while sacrificing what you know needs to happen, if that makes sense. I just keep hearing something about people pleasing. The fact that you have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, the 4 of Cups in reverse, the 9 of Cups in reverse, and the Hierophant, I feel like this is a complete rejection of what you know that is not good. And I really want you to trust in your discernment. I also really want you to believe in yourself and know that you have the capacity to go far, and you have the capacity, the capabilities, and the potential, yes. But it's not just about a potential. You have the capacity and you can do this. All you have to do is stand your ground on this, right? I just feel like you are so gifted, and you are being called to honor that gift, and you don't have to people please. People are coming to see you, not the other way around. And while it can sound arrogant, but there's a difference between you being firm and confident and knowing your power and your worth, and you being arrogant. Because sometimes when arrogance, I'm going to be real with you, I feel, right, like where there is arrogance, there also is room for ignorance and wisdom bypassing you. Let's just say that, right? Like, I don't believe in being arrogant. I do believe, however, firmly in being confident, knowing what you're doing, knowing what you're talking about, and also knowing that you have the power to set things straight. Like, that's just the way that I want to say it. But also, again, you're being called out for people pleasing. So this is not one of those areas where you're going to sacrifice what you need or do things in a way that you believe other people want you to do. You do them in a way that you do them, because no matter what, your tribe who really needs you is going to receive what you have. You have the medicine. And I feel like Spirit is wanting you to give that medicine in the way that you can give that medicine. You won't miss out on anything if you do the offering and you do the serving and you do what you are here to do. And I feel like you are being given some type of invitation. I don't know if you're going to come into some type of money or investment, but there's something that someone is going to see you do, but they're going to want to invest in you, and you're going to get a big break. So even if you are afraid of getting out there and doing things on your own, you don't have to self-sacrifice in order to get people to come on. You don't have to do that, because that is self-betrayal, and you are not here to betray yourself. Self-betrayal is one of the biggest sins, right? Self-betrayal is one of the biggest sins. And I feel like instead of us sinning in a way, we allow ourselves to show up, be rooted in our power, be emotionally intelligent, yes, because you're going to need that emotional intelligence and you're going to need that resonance, right? And so when you put out the things that you put out, right, when you go back to work, you state, this is what I'm willing to accept. This is what I'm not willing to accept, right? I just heard something about go to HR. Your job is coming through here. And if you don't have right a 9 to 5, then this is one of those things where you don't allow people to tell you what you need to be doing, because more than likely if somebody is telling you that and they're coming to you for a service, then that means that they're wanting you to do things in the way that they need, which is a selfish thing. And they'll turn that around and say, oh, I'm just trying to help. I'm just giving you constructive criticism. No, you're telling me what you want me to do for you, and you're trying to call the shots on what I'm doing because you needed to serve you. And that's not how it works. Because if you're coming to me, then you need the medicine from me, not the other way around. So I feel like sometimes we have to be firm and let people know that, and not in a way where we're being arrogant, but in a way where we're letting them know this does not work for me. And I feel like Spirit is really wanting you to, again, just trust in what you're doing, trust in your capabilities, but also make sure that, and even if it's not a job, if it's a relationship, right, you still, this doesn't work for me, this is what does. And they will already know what you off. And that's one thing too. Like, I don't want to treat relationships or talk to you about relationships like they're just jobs, right? Because that's not what it is. But sometimes we have to be firm. Listen, this is what happened. This is what I will not do. This is what I will do. And sometimes we have to be this way because sometimes people, they won't get it. And also, what I just heard, you don't have to over-explain either. You can state it one time and let it just be that. Let everything else fall into place. And if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to walk away. Because sometimes what we think that we may find value in this moment may not be as valuable, and it may not be as resonant, because what the divine sees for us is way greater. What our higher minds. When I say the divine, I mean the aspect of us that is our higher mind, because we are all a part of that source. And if the source within you tells you that this is empty, we get up and we go, because we're not going to keep pouring into things, seeing that they're empty, and then just continuously pouring out and we're not being poured into. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing for you. Also, I do feel that with the Hierophant coming up here, this is something that is going to withstand time, but also get back into your routine and get back into, sorry about that. That was my alarm. But getting back into a rhythm and really honoring that rhythm and really allowing yourself to stick to that rhythm, stick to that, right? Just stick to that. And I feel like this is actually what's going to help you. Okay. Thank you so much for listening and for tuning in. I do see that, again, you are definitely moving into a new space, also of connection to and quality and connection. Okay. Quality and connection. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you need anything from me, please feel free to visit me online. I'll have all the links that you would need down below. Also, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Also, give me a loving comment. Let me know if this reading helped you by subscribing or by also sending this video to someone that you think will need it. And until then, I really do appreciate your time and your energy here. I am here to pour into you as much as I possibly can, giving the gifts and talents that I have. If there's nothing else, I love you. Take care, and I'll catch you in my next video.